All right, so welcome everybody to the WebEx on travel management, transactional users, administration in Inspira. We're going to see today how to administer the courses in Inspira for the teach back on transactional users for the travel module. This is a follow-up on the presentation we already gave you on a VTC last week. And we're going to go into a little bit more into detail on how to do it actually in Inspira. So here you can see the presentation that we already saw together. So I'm going to go straight into the few slides that I want to focus on. So the first concept that has to be clear. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say, if you have any questions, please use your chat window and ask any questions that you need to place at any time. I will be looking at the chat window every now and then, and I'll be addressing all questions at a certain time when I can stop from the presentation. So so as I said, good afternoon, good morning to everybody. Thank you for attending. And let's start with WebEx today. So the first concept I want to clarify with all of you is the training, what we're going to be calling the training package. The training package, it's a 3-day training that the LPETs, travel LPETs in the missions, are going to be delivering at the mission level to the different end users. So they're going to do trainings on 3-day slots. So every complete training will have a duration of 3 days. The difficulty in here is for you to understand how to break it up, because in Inspira this has to be broken into 2 different groups. So it's a little bit confusing, but I'm going to try to explain it the best way I can so it's easy for you to understand. So each training package has a duration of 3 days. This training package will be delivered by the LPETs several times at the mission level. So they will be delivering several 3-day training. Each 3-day training will be a repetition of the previous, just to a different number of people, because the audience in some missions is very large. So we have to make groups of people to deliver the same training. So this package of 3 days is going to have 2 different kind of audiences in general. The audience is here. Let me hold on. Let me just use this tool to show you a bit better. Okay, so here, when it says mandatory roles, it is actually the people, the audience that are going to be attending this workshop. So we have 2 groups of audiences. And we're going to see this a bit clearer on the next slide. So we have the audience. Oh, sorry. We have the audience of the administrators, and we have the audience of the approvers. So we have to ask our trainers to divide their attendees list into 2 groups. We need to receive 2 groups of people. So we will receive one list of attendees for the administration people. So we should receive a list of attendees of travel administrators, and we should receive another list of attendees for approvers, which would be these roles in Umoja. So to make this clear, for every training package, this is to say for every 3 days of training, for every set of training package, we should receive 2 different lists of attendees. One list will be for the administrators. So basically, the administrators will be attending the first day of the training, and another list of approvers and certified officers, which will be attending most of them the day 2. Then for the day 3 is going to be a mixture of the 2 groups. So you, as Inspira administrators, you don't need to know exactly who is going to which lesson. You just need to know the different people. You need to know if Mr. White is an administrator or if Mr. White is an approver. And then you need to know if Miss Smith is an administrator or if Miss Smith is an approver. So, and that will, the information has to be provided to you by the trainer. So every time a trainer delivers a 3-day training package, you should receive 2 lists of attendance, one for administrators, one for approvers. Okay, so this is the first important topic and to be understood. Yeah, Carla, you have a question. Please go ahead. You can also have place a question on the chat window. Okay, for RCE, you have 28 people attending the 3-day training. Okay, that's the way the mission wants to do it. Do you want everybody to know everything, which is RCE option? From our point of view, we understood that it was only needed, I mean, the administrators are going to do some transactions in Umoja, and the approvers are going to do some other different transactions in Umoja. So in order to be more efficient with time, that's how we divide it on topics. So the administrators need to know this part of Umoja, the approvers need to know this part of Umoja, and then there is this other part of Umoja that some need to know and some others do not need to know because it's not going to be related to their job. However, if you RC is more into sharing the knowledge for everybody to know everything, that's also an option. That's not a problem. However, in Inspira, the certification should go to those people who are related to their job, because as an administrator, for example, a TV05 is an administrator. A TV05 will never be approving a transaction on travel in Umoja. Firstly, because in Umoja, the person introducing the request and the person approving the request can never be the same person. It needs to be two different people for just for quality control as well. Because if you have a different pair of eyes looking at it, they can see some errors that the first one didn't see. So it's also quality control, and that's why we always have 2 different people. It cannot be the same one introducing the transaction or making the request and the same person approving it. So for that reason, an administrator cannot have the transactional approver certificate, and the approver shouldn't have the administrator certificate. This is also for us to know later on how many people have been trained on each course. So even if you sharing the knowledge with everybody, which that's okay, that is not a problem. In Inspira, you should still make the differentiation, and we still should have the list of attendees as administrators and the list of attendees as approvals and certifying officers. So once this is clarified, the 2 lists of attendees that we will receive from each training package of 3 days. Now, the second point that needs to be understood is that all the administrators, all the travel administrators, that is going to be in, let's say, the list of attendee number 1, let's call it number 1, all these people, they're all going to be treated in the same way in Inspira. And they're all going to be enrolled in one course, which is going to be LMS 2168. And they're all going to be in one course, as attendees of this one course. All the all the certifying officers and approvers will be on the attendees list number 2, and they will all be treated equally, and they will all be enrolled in the same LMS code in Inspira, which is going to be 1957. So just to sum up, for every 3-day training that is going to be delivered mission level by the LPT, we're going to obtain 2 different attendees lists. Number 1 of attendees list administrators will be enrolled into LMS 2168. Number 2 of attendees, approvers and certifying officers will be enrolled into LMS 1957. Each attendee will only be enrolled in one LMS code. Each attendee will either be on 2168 or 1957, but they will not be enrolled in both. So each attendee will have one certificate. The administrators will have their certificate of Umoja ESS for travel management. The approvers will have the certificate of Umoja processing and approving travel requests. Is this clear for everybody? You can now use your tick green button so I can see if this is clear for everybody. I can see, Antoine, you have a question? If you have a question, please use your chat. Sure. There you go. Antoine, you can talk now.
Okay, thank you. In my mission in UNIFIL, what I understood is from the trainer, he did 2 sessions. The first session was UE2 travel implementation TAS/TPO approval role. This is the first. And the second one is this one, Umoja E2 for travel processing officer. So, and that's it. So
Okay,
I'm
so
not sure who to put where, and that's all I have. And my understanding is that it's done.
okay, so basically, I mean, we offer some kind of flexibility for the trainers at the mission level to deliver the training the way they think it's most suitable for the mission, because as you know, all missions are different and the needs in the mission might be different. So that is okay if the trainer in the mission is not fully following the plan that we suggest, because this is a suggestion from our side. It's not compulsory to follow these strictly. So the only thing is that if they are following a little bit of a different training model, all they have to do is that they still have to tell you which, I mean, we believe, we trust the trainers. So we believe that the content is going to be delivered. They might structure the content in a different way, and they may deliver it in a different way that is more appropriate for the mission. That's fine. But we still believe that the same content that is within that certification will be delivered to the same audience, to the administrators and to the certifying officers or approvers. So at the end of the day, for UK's, for UNIFIL, basically you will not follow the 3-day model, but all the rest will apply exactly the same. And you still have to ask your trainers to tell you the list of administrators and the list of approvers for each course. Because as we're going to see later, every time they deliver a training package, and I'm going to call it, let's unify this concept. Let's all use the same concept. The training package is going to be referring to the 3-day course that might be repeated several times in the mission, okay? But the training package is going to be each time a full training is delivered. and that can be repeated. Whether it's 3 days, 2 days, 1 day, it may depend on different missions. Each mission might do it in a different way, but a training package will still be that full unit of training that is going to be repeatedly delivered until it reaches the entire audience in the mission. So for each training package, you must receive 2 lists of attendees, the administrators and the approvers. Is that clear, Antoine? Have I answered to your question?
Okay, so the 2 trainings that I gave you their names, so a person will attend one of the 2 days, or could be in both days. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
All I need.
It doesn't matter, no, because that's how the trainer has decided to reconfigure, let's say, reconfigure the agenda that we have suggested. And that's okay. We allow that flexibility. That's not a problem. But in terms to when we record in Inspira the training that we're doing, let's record it in a unified way, as if we have all done this training. We allow the flexibility in the field, so you can adapt to the requirements of your mission. The trainers can adapt to the requirements of the mission. But when we go into Inspira, we're going to try to look as DFS is doing this thing. As if DFS as a unit, we are all doing this approach. So even if we allow some flexibility at mission level, in our reporting, let's try to show that we are all coordinated. And even if we may deliver in a slightly different way, at the end, we're offering the same content to all the different audiences in the same quality, let's say. Okay, so the next question is coming from Halil, and he's saying, what about the 3rd day? What LMS number to be used? What about the 3rd day? Okay, so Halil, the 3rd day, this is, no, we're going to see this a bit later. And right now, that's the next concept that we're going to see. And you will understand that we are not going to do this. This is the difficult part to understand. This course is not related to the 1st day, and this course is not related to the 2nd day. We need to. It's a bit difficult to understand. We had to find a way to make your life easier in order to still gather the concept, but the concept is a bit difficult to see. So basically, we have taken the 3 days as a unit. Maybe I need to go back to my Word, and maybe I need to show it a bit more from scratch. So let's say that we have a 3 day training package. Okay, that 3 day, it's taking 2 audiences. Okay, we have the admins, and we also have the certifying. I'm going to call them approvers. It's easier. Okay, so 2 different people, 2 different groups of people will attend some trainings during 3 days. They will not attend the entire training, but they will attend sometimes some hours of those trainings that will last for in total 3 days. So if we look at from the trainer point of view, 3 days equals 21 hours of trainings, right? Because it's 7 hours times 3 days, 7 hours per day times 3 days, it equals to 21 hours, right? So 7 hours, 3 days, right? So that's the training that the trainer is going to deliver. Now, if we look from the student point of view, as a rule of thumb, which is not accurate, but we didn't want to go accurate Because if we went accurate, your life would be very difficult. You would have to be cloning lots of different courses and doing a lot of admin work. And we decided that it was not needed to go that much into detail. It was sufficient to get the average idea. So the average or general idea, we just decided that the admins were going to attend 1.5 days of training, and the approvers would be attending 1.5 days of training. Does it make sense? So we have 3 days of training for two different people, two different groups of people. So we just divide equally. We say admins will take 1.5 days, approvers will take 1.5 days. And then we don't go into which day 1, day 2, day 3, morning, afternoon. We don't go into that detail. That's not for us Inspira administrators to know. That's for the trainer to know, but that's not for us. We are happy just deciding that it's going to be 1.5 days for the admins, 1.5 days for the approvers. Hamidullah, 2 days for each audience? No, this is what we're saying. We have 3 days for the total. How the trainer divides it, we're not going to go into that detail. That would be crazy for us to go into that much detail. So we have decided for all DFS, we're going to take the approach that administrators will attend half of the training, 1.5 days. The approvers will attend half of the training, 1.5 days. So 1.5 days is going to equal 10 hours of training. And for the approvers, the same thing. 1.5 days is going to equal 10 hours of training. Okay? So at the end, we said we have 2 different LMS codes. Let me get this on this side so I can look at it. So we're going to say the admins, they're going to be enrolled for 10 hours of training into LMS 2168. And the approvers are going to be enrolled into LMS 1957 for 10 hours. So does it make more sense if we explain it this way? So we have a 3-day package. We're still talking about a 3-day package. This is each unit of training that the trainers will deliver and will be repeated several times. So the unit is a 3-day training package. That's for the trainer to decide how to do it. From the Inspira administration point of view, to ease our life a little bit, we're going to take the point of view as we have 2 different audiences attending some of this 3-day training, not all of it, except RCE, but there's an exception. As a rule of thumb, the admins will attend sometimes the training, the approvers will attend some other times of this training. So as a general rule of thumb, given these maths, we're going to give the admins a certificate, LMS 2168, for 10 hours of training on Umoja ESS for travel management, as we said before, and the approvers are going to receive a training of 10 hours as well in a different LMS code, 1957, and they will receive the certificate of Umoja processing and approving travel requests. Is this clear? Is a bit better to understand? Can you please check? Click on the check mark, on the green check mark, so I can see if you understand. Thank you, Halil. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Hamidullah. Thank you, Antoine. Okay. Thank you, everybody. It's clear. Very good. I'm very happy. So now, very good. So for now, for every training package, for every 3-day package that is delivered, every time the trainer delivers a new package, a new unit of training, we will clone a new course and we will obtain a new list of administrators and a new list of approvers. So we will do the same thing, but it will be, for example, I'm going to make it up. The first unit of training will be 2168-589, and the first unit will be 687, and then the second unit of training, this will be repeated, will be cloning another course, a different course in our mission, same configuration, but then it will be 590, and this will be 87. Oh, sorry, 88. Every time a package of training is delivered, we'll be cloning a new 2168 and a new 1957. Is this clear? Please check the green check if this is clear. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Halil. Thank you, Antoine. Thank you, Hamidullah. Thank you, Ismail. Very good. So everything is clear. Very good. Fantastic. So I'm going to leave this down there. Oh, I will have to log in again. Okay, very good. So the concept is clear. This is the most difficult part to understand because it's a bit confusing, as you can have seen already. But once this is clear, the rest is going to be very smooth. It's going to be much easier. So we're going to go straight into the cloning. So here we go. We're going to start cloning the course in Inspira. So we know how to find the course. And what I was thinking, I was preparing this yesterday, what I thought that could be maybe more realistic, instead of me using a test course, I was thinking maybe I will do the cloning for one of you guys. So maybe, I don't know, Carla, may I use a this session to clone a course for you? So this will be actually what I'm planning on doing. I'm going to do the process that Carla, who is the Inspira administrator in RCE, this should be her task to do. She would be doing exactly what I'm going to be doing in her mission. So I'm going to do actually real work that Carla won't have to do, so that would be good for her. But this, I'm going to do the real thing. I'm not going to be using a test course. I'm going to actually go into the system, clone, configure everything, and Carla will be using this one course for her to use. So if you all agree, I thought that could be maybe a better way to go through the process so you can understand. And because the testing sometimes is not as real as production, right? So first of all, we go into learning administration, catalog, main activities. Can you see the screen? Should I zoom a bit the screen? Maybe this is better, right? Can you see now? Can you see better? Please use the green check. Can you see better? This is better. You want me to zoom a bit more? Thank you, Carla. All the others, can you see my screen? The zoom is good enough? Thank you, Helene. Oh, the others went for a coffee? Well, I hope that this is good enough for everybody. So I'm just going to go ahead. So we go to the main menu, Learning Administration, Catalog, Main Activities. That's our path. This is the first step. We're going to clone a course. So the first thing we do is we go into the catalog. We search for, let's say, a template or a previous course that we can use. And then we clone from a previous course. We cloned our course, the course that we will be using. So the first thing we have to do in order to find the template, we have to select this to blank. Otherwise, the search will only give us the active courses. And we want to give us any course they have in the catalog. So we change this to blank. Just to ease our life, we just change this to contains. and then we get 2168266. Remember, as we saw during the VTC, that this 266 is the template I have already prepared for you for this project, okay? So you can use 266 as the first course to clone. When you have to clone later on more courses of this 2168, it is best to clone from your own course, right? Because as you will see now, we're going to configure this course for Carla, in this case for RCE. So it's going to be easier for her to clone from her own course than from the 266, because from the 266 she will have to change many things. From her own course already assigned to Carla and RCE, she will have to change less things. So, but maybe this is easier to see a little bit later on. So first we just say contains, status blank, and then we search. And the system will bring us this template. Okay, this template was made by me. You can see my name here. And this template is for all missions to use as a template. You should not use this course. So the first step is to clone it. So we're going to clone it. And then the system will give us this next activity code available. Two things we have to do here. First, we change this into active because, as we know, from the moment we clone it, we will need up to 3 hours to be able to start enrolling people. So the sooner we move it into active, the sooner the clock starts clicking, right? So we change it into active already. And here the date, we want to put the date where the first training in our mission started. So Carla, do you know when the first training took place? If you don't know, I will just make up a date that is early enough. I know it will be good. Do you know the first date, Carla? Okay, I'll just make it up. Thank you, Carla. So I'm going to select May 14. That's safe. I'm sure that your mission didn't do any training before that. So I'm going to copy the sessions because in this way, everything that was in the template, May 29, thank you. So here we go, May 29. So that's going to be, I'm going to be 28 because I'm going to select a Monday afterwards. We can see this. I'm going to do 28 and then we will see during the configuration. So I'm ticking copy session information here because if I tick this box, when I clone, everything that was in the template that I configured for you in the 266, everything will be copied. Okay, so we want to do that. We want to tick this box, and then we continue. And here is our course. So, Carla, this is your LMS. Please take a note of it. Please note it because this will be your real LMS to enroll your stuff. So your course is 2168276, and this will be your LMS for the first training package. Remember that unit, that complete unit of 3 days, the first training package that took place in RCE. So the 276, it's only for Carla to use. No other mission should go into there. It's only for Carla, only for RCE. So, because this is Carla now, it's not me anymore. So one of the things, first thing we have to do as Inspira administrators, we delete the name of Yolanda, we go into the magnifying glasses, and then we look up. We can say name display contains, and then we look for Carla. And let's see. Oh, she doesn't come up. So let's do something. We go to let's look for minutes. There we go. Because you see, Carla is Carla Maria. That's why it was not coming as a result. But if we do minutes, then it comes, and that's her account. So there you go. That's Carla. So she is the administrator. I'm not the administrator for 276 because this is going to be an LMS code for RCE, where she is the administrator I am not the administrator. This is the administrator field. We go into the primary instructor field. Leandro is not going to be training in RCE, so the same thing happens here. Leandro is not the trainer in RCE. Carla will have to go into here. Carla, if you know the name of the main trainer, please write it for me in the chat window, and I will try to look for it. Otherwise, you can do it later. So you would do the same thing. You would, let's say, Leandro, just to show you how. Oh, Edna. Edna is the last name. Edna is the last name. So we look for Edna. Search. Okay, no results. Oh, sorry. Here we go. So this is, in this case, Edna is there. So we select. And you see, this is the configuration for 276, which is Carla in RCE, and the main trainer is going to be Edna. There could be an option where you look for your trainer and it doesn't show. Like I don't know if Gordana. There were 3 instructors. Yeah, this is. I'm going into that, Carla. 1 second. So maybe Gordana. I don't know if Gordana is there or not, but it could be she's there too. Okay. However, it could be very possible that when you search your trainer in your mission, nothing comes up as a result. I'll just do it wrong, so you know. Okay, you will get this answer. For many trainers, unfortunately, Inspira is not updated with all the trainers. So this could be an option. You could find this as a result. If that is the case, then you leave it blank. Okay, you would just leave it blank with no trainer here. That's not important. So why this is important? This is important because when the user goes into Inspira and takes the course, they're going to have 2 contacts. The contact as an administrator will be the person to ask questions on Inspira, on I did my course but I cannot see my certificate, or I got the wrong certificate, things related to the administration of Inspira. Those questions should go to Carla. They could also have questions on the concept of the training in itself. Like, I don't understand why the travel request has to be placed a minimum of 14 days before the travel is happening. That kind of questions related to the content of the training should be addressed to the trainer. So these are the 2 different contacts because there are 2 different kind of questions. And depending on the kind of question, this is your contact for the administration in Inspira. This is your contact for the contents of the training. Okay. Now, the status in here should be active as we already chose it. So the clock is already ticking, which is good for us. The owner of this course is Roseanne Clark, and we do not change that. We will never change the name of Roseanne Clark. Roseanne Clark will remain the owner for all of our courses. For all Umoja courses in DFS, Roseanne Clark is always the owner. So we're not going to change that. Okay, I'm going to address the question that Carla was just placing a minute ago. What happens when in the mission there are 3 different trainers and they're all delivering training? Okay, we will see in a later screen that you can add more trainers. In this screen, this is the activity details of the configuration, the main configuration of the course. This is the primary instructor. There might be more instructors, but let's say that one should be coordinating the others. If that is the case, if one is the main instructor and one is coordinating all the trainers, that main instructor is the one that should appear on this page, on the activity details. It could also be the case that those 3 instructors are equally in level of coordination. They know there's no main instructor. The 3 instructors are on the same level. Because for example, as we usually, even if we are all the instructors in our team, we're all equally the same level. For each training, we always nominate a leader for that particular training, who is leading, is coordinating the training. It has nothing to do with your category level at work. It is just for that particular training, one person will be coordinating just to make sure that everything makes sense in the from the global point of view. If you're following that approach as well, that leader will be the name showing in here. If you're not following that approach and you're just making all trainers equally, you know, there's no coordinator, there's no leader, they're just trainers, then what I suggest is that you, because we're going to be cloning this course several times for every time a training package is delivered, you just take different, you know, like you take Edna for this 276, you take Gordana for the next time you clone it, and then you take the third name for the next time you clone it. So you just take turns, basically. It's not important, as I said, this is just to show who is going to be answering the questions on the course, if there would be any questions. So it's not super important that your name appears here. So, but I understand that it might be, you know, a little bit sensitive, and people want to have the name in there. So if they're equally training, just take turns, and you have one name each time you clone. Okay, so we're still on the activity details. The general information is finished. So the general information, as we can see, this is the date that we selected on the previous page. Okay, so we can see that date there. Still not too relevant. This is just to show when this training here started for this 276, but it doesn't need to be super accurate. We will see where it is very important to change it. So this will remain as this. So Carla Diniz, the administrator, your name in here, trainer's name in here, active, and Roseanne Clark in here. Then we can move to the next, and this is just for you to know, but you shouldn't do anything. Learning environments, now we should only have Umoja, primary, and a learner group Umoja administrators. But that should be copied from a template, so you shouldn't do anything. Here we save because we've changed, right, the general information. So we save. Now, this is why I was saying for Carla, now it will be easier. The next time that she needs to clone 2168, it is best for Carla to clone from 276 rather than to clone from my own template, the 266. Because the 266 means that every time she will have to change the administrator, every time she will have to change the date, the primary instructor, and all the different things that we are going to keep on doing now as we configure. If she clones from 276, she doesn't have to change all this. It's already been changed, okay? So the first time you clone from my template, 266. The following times that you clone from your own course. Very good. So we move to the next tab, learning components. In the learning components, we have three components. We have the sessions, we have the survey, and we have the assessment. In here, I'm going to start with the easy ones, the one that we don't have to do anything. So the survey, we don't have to do anything. If we go in there, we already have an internal survey, which is the Umoja Level 3 survey. That's good. It's already in my template, so there's nothing you have to do. Okay. The assessment, the same thing. If we go in there, there's no assessment in here because these learners are going to take the assessment outside of Inspira. The assessment will be taken in a different platform, not in Inspira. Carla is placing a question on the assessment. No assessment was done for the training. Okay, there has to be an assessment, but it's not going to be in Inspira. It's going to be outside of Inspira. The trainers, the LPETs, should provide the link to the users, to the learners. They should click on that link, which is another platform, and do the assessment, do the exam. We, Valencia team, will access the results. And we, Valencia team, we will provide you, Inspira administrators, the results. So let's go back to our web page that things seem to be a bit clearer. So the first thing, LPET provides link of assessment outside of Inspira to learners. Okay, that's the first step. Second step, learners take the assessment outside Inspira. Third point, Valencia team we gather the results. And the 4 points, the Valencia training team communicates the results to Inspira administrators in the mission. So the Inspira administrators complete the administration of the roster course in Inspira and complete the course in Inspira. Certification is awarded to learners. Is this clear? This is the process. Okay, let's see. Leandro said today that no assessment will be done for this training. It is not mandatory assessment. I will have to double check with Leandro, but I'm quite sure that this assessment is mandatory. I thought. I will do check with Leandro, and I will get back to you. I will get back to you in knowing whether the assessment is compulsory or not. But I believe, I mean, as what I know up to now, up to the second, is that the assessment is mandatory. The users need to pass the assessment in order to obtain the certificate. Remember, Carla, remember that we're talking at the beginning of the WebEx, we said the different audiences. Leandro is now in Entebbe as part of the hub that is coordinating all the deployment of the new enhancements in travel. But that means it's also to other audiences like national staff and IUPs. National staff and IUPs, it's not compulsory that they take the assessment. For them, it's a bit different. But this WebEx we're having now is for transactional users. I think for transactional users, it is compulsory because if you think of it, these are people that are going to be approving travel requests for the different staff members in the mission. So from the concept point of view, it makes sense that they need to be assessed and somehow pass an exam to make sure that you understood the minimum in order to approve a travel request. So I think maybe that's a different thing. Maybe the IUPs are not mandatory for them to take the assessment because at the end of the day, IUPs are only requesting that, you know, if you make a mistake, there's somebody else in Umoja that will find out. And IUPs, they can only do the in-mission travel. For many other travels, there will be somebody doing it on their behalf. They will not be doing it. So at the end, even if they don't do it properly, there's no damage in the system because somebody else will be overlooking whatever they have done. So it's not so important that they pass the exam. But for certifying officers and administrators, actually the administrators will be the ones doing it on behalf. A particular role of administrators will be doing the on behalf for all the IUPs. It is, I mean, that was my understanding, that it was compulsory for them to pass the exam. However, we're going to take it as it is compulsory at this moment, but I will double check with Leandro and get back to you with a full 100% confirmation on this, okay? But for the time being, we're going to take assessment is compulsory, and passing the assessment is compulsory in order to obtain your certificate. Alrighty, so is this taking this assumption, is this clear? Please click on your check, green check, the green check, for me to know if it's this process is clear for all of you. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Hamidullah. Thank you, Halil. Is it clear for the others? Thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Antoine. Very good. So, all right. So we're going to go back to our course in Inspira. So we were on the assessment, right? On the assessment component here. And we were saying that it's not internal, it's outside. So you don't have to do anything in here, right? Because it's already copied from my template. So the third component that is missing is the sessions. In the session component, yes, you will have to do something. So let's go into that. The component here, if you go to the top, you have 3 different tabs. You have the components, the patterns, and the sessions. In the component tab, we don't have to do anything. In the patterns tab, then we have to do some changes to modify it to our own mission. So the first thing we have to do is the facility. So in here, the training remember this is the course for Entebbe, for Carla. So the training is not going to take place in Valencia. It's going to be Valencia. Carla, can you please tell me the location? Is it going to be Entebbe? The facility, not the room. We're not going to do the room. I just need to know the city. I believe it's going to be Entebbe because I know the room that you told me. Yeah, here. So sorry, let's do it slower. So we going to, for the facility, we go into the magnifying glasses, and then we can do the description because there is a long list here. So just to make it easy, we can go to the description. We change the begins with into a contains. And in here we write Entebbe. We hit enter, and here we have Entebbe in Uganda. So we select. That's our facility. And we always have they've updated this now lately in Inspira. They updated it like maybe a week ago because there were some duplications. So now, if you find 2 different options, please choose the one that reads as country, comma, city. If you find one where there's only one city, there's only a country, do not pick that one. That is an error. Now, the ones that are going to be synchronized for reporting purposes are the ones that are country, comma, city. So please always choose an option that has country, comma, city. Very good. This facility is very important because some reports are going to be run by these facility fields. So make sure that you select the city where the training was delivered. Like some missions have different locations, many different locations. Like MONUSCO, I think, has got 7 different locations. UNMISS has got 10 different locations. You will have to change this facility depending on where the training was delivered. Okay, next field, start date. Now here is where the start date is important because now we're going to say which days the training we're going to take place on. So for these, I'm going to go back quickly to our page here. So remember our 3-day package, right? Remember we said admins, we're taking as a general rule of thumb, admins are going to be 1.5 days, approvers are going to be 1.5 days. And we know this is not accurate, and we accept the little delta that could be created. But we're going to administer our courses in Inspira following this rule that we've all agreed and we accept as the general rule of thumb. So taking this rule, keeping this in mind, we're going to select that the training started as per the information that Carla is giving me. The training actually started on May 30th, so that was the first day of the training, and just follow our concept of 1.5 per course. since here we now taking care of 2168, so this is the administrator's course, we're going to say 2 sessions. Sessions in this page, in this screenshot that you can see, refers to days, days in the week. So we're going to say 2 sessions because we know it's 1 day and a half, and 1 day, another option that we looked at, if we do 1 day and a half, it would be 1 day 7 hours, the second day 3.5 hours, right? So that's also complicated. So going back to our Word document, we also wanted to make it simple, so that's why we said 10 hours and 10 hours. So we're going to go for the 10 hours, which is going to be broken into, in Inspira, it's going to be 2 days of 5 hours each. Okay, does it make sense? So at least it makes more sense for Inspira, and it's easier to do it. So for all of our courses in Inspira, we are going to configure our courses like this. Okay, so we're going to configure this LMS 2168 for 2 days, 5 hours each, and we are going to configure 1957 for 2 days, each 5 hours each. Okay, I think that's the easiest we could do it for you guys, not to have too much admin work in Inspira. So following this, we're going to select 2 sessions, and I'm now copying the information that Carla has kindly given to me already. So she was saying that the training was taking place from 9 till 4:30. So since we're going to follow our pattern of 5 hours, we're going to say that it started at 9 in the morning, and then it's going to finish 9 plus 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So it's going to end at 14 hours. Time zone is always going to be local time. Okay? And then the days of the week, Carla told me Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So I believe this 30th was a Wednesday. Very good. So we are going to select, because we said 2 days, so we're going to select Wednesday and Thursday. So you see what I've done, right? Actually, I'm going to bring down my page again. If we follow the truth, let's get a new page. If we follow the truth, what Carla has told me is that it started on May 30th, lasted for 3 days, and the timing was from 9 until 16:30. Okay, this is the real data, but this is for the entire training package, right? For the unit we said of training. Now we have to. Hamidullah is talking about the lunch break, right? But you're right. You're very right, Hamidullah. But that would be part of. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to write it like this: real data. Okay, that would be part of the real data. In the real data, we could have lunch. Let's say we're going to just make it up. Let's say from 12 till 1. I don't know if that's true, but it doesn't really matter. We're just for the purpose of talking. This is real data. This is what really happened for one package of training, right? So that was one package of training, and this is what really happened. Now, for Inspira, what we are going to accept, we're going to record, is that what happened is that it started on May 30th. So that's true. We're going to adapt. That is true. It lasted, we said, 10 hours, which is equivalent to 2 days, right? We said 2 days, 5 hours each. So already in here, we know been super accurate. But somehow, because these 3 days were for 2 audiences, right? Remember the admins plus the approvers, right? So, here, this is referred to one audience only. In this case, we're doing the admins. Okay, so it's not fully accurate, but it's not a complete lie because it was 3 days for the 2 groups of people. So this one group of people, we're giving it 10 hours, 2 days, 5 hours each. So it's not completely accurate, but you may agree with me that as a concept, it's good enough. We're happy enough with this, right? So now for the timing, you can choose what to do. I mean, it's up to you. We're not going to be that detailed in here. All we need to do is like from X to Z, but Z minus X needs to be equal to 5 hours. So this is where it comes, Hamidullah, that if you want to get the lunch break, you can, I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's as long as it's 5 hours, because that's what we have to show. We have to show that it's a complete training is going to last 20 hours, which is the equivalent to the 3 days. So we cannot get this picky, because otherwise it would be a lot of work for you guys to administer each course in Inspira. So with this kind of equivalence, we're happy enough. All right, is this clear? Please check the green tick if this is okay for all of you. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Halil. Thank you, Ismail. Thank you, Hamidullah. Antoine, you there? No, Antoine is not clear. Okay, what question do you have, Antoine? Why it's not clear? I'm unmuted. Antoine? Antoine, is not clear for you? I cannot hear you now. Antoine? Okay, you can send me your question on the chat whenever you're ready, because I cannot really hear you. And I don't know what the problem is. You want to try to ask again?
Check.
There you are. Okay, go ahead, Anton.
Okay. It's almost clear, but the question.
Can you speak out a bit more, please?
Yes.
Because I can hardly hear you.
Yeah. Do we need to bother doing this? Because I clone lots of courses and I don't go through this. I just put start time and end time. I mean, does it matter to go through the patterns and how important is it?
It is important in order to have the course, when we run reports, we see all this data. And, you know, because you know that Umoja, the book of records for all the training in Umoja is Inspira. So, you know, at the high levels in UNHQ, the Undersecretariat, you know, ASGs and SGs, and they are asking for reports. They do not go into Inspira. They just request the reports. So we run the reports, and all this information gets in the reports. So that's one of the purposes why the report should be completed, because it depends. Sometimes they go and look into the details, sometimes they don't, but we don't know when they will want to go into the details.
What happened here practically, there was 2 days of training, and now I have to go to the trainer and try to find out the approvers and the admins, and then
well,
what to write.
Well, that's, yeah, I understand. No, it's going to be even more difficult than that, because if you've enrolled students already in the courses, now you cannot change the configuration, because you can only do that before you enroll students. When you've enrolled students, you cannot change the configuration. So in your case, what is done is done. Sorry?
I didn't enroll.
Oh, okay, very good. So, I mean, the best thing to do is to follow this. I mean, I also administer the courses that we provide, and I follow this as well, because as I said, there were two purposes. One is for the reporting purposes in UNHQ whenever they ask for how is Umoja going in the missions, because they're very concerned about the training in the missions. They want to know. They're asking many questions about the training in the missions. How many people are reached? What is the audience? How long was the training? They're asking all these questions. So when we run their reports, if all the information is in there, it's much easier and they're happier because it's kind of like the official reporting tool. So it's all official, it's all clear, and it's nice. But there's also another objective, and the second objective is when the auditors come around. The auditors also asking for all these little questions, and they want to know this from an official source. That they're not happy if we just say, in an email, no, it lasted for 2 days. They want to see that it's all homogeneous across all missions. They want to see that the service we're providing is the same service to all missions, that DFS is united and we provide in the same quality of service to all missions. We know internally that we need to be a little bit flexible because missions are different. And, they're big missions with huge audiences. They're small missions with, 2-3 people involved into these. Missions with many locations. Missions with geographical challenges to face. So we understand that we have to be flexible, but we need to also be homogeneous at the same time.
Yeah, but this is an extra reason for me not to do it because I will be inventing dates and times, and this is not will not will not go in line with my conscience. This is
Yeah, no, I understand, Antoine, and that's very good. But the thing is, I mean, the past, what you did in the history, I mean, is not, if it's only a few courses that you've already cloned, is not a big deal. But as as the best practice for the future is that every time the instructor gives you the list of attendees, of administrators, and the list of attendees of certifying officers, he should also tell you which date that training was delivered, and that's it. And from there, then, as with the example that we saw with Carla, it's not as we saw here, we're not reflecting the exact real data, but it's accurate enough. So if the instructor sends to you the two lists of attendees and he says the training took place from May 30th until June 1st, that's good enough for you because that's accurate enough for us. And that's the truth. We're not saying it happened in July 5th. It's accurate enough. So all you need from the instructor is to tell you the day when the training happened. And with that is enough because then the duration, we've already opted to take this decision because otherwise it's going to be too complicated. So the duration is going to be up to us. So all you need really is the starting date.
So
Is that good enough?
I don't put any end date.
No, there is no end date. You see here, there is only, sorry, you see my screen? There's only a start date. There is not end date. The end date that you see is in the previous, I'm going to apply these changes. Okay, and let me go back so I can show you. The only end date that happens that you can see is here in the activity details. It's here, it's blank. You see, it's blank because this end date is related to the time when no more enrollments will be allowed. If you select a date here of the end date, that means that after that date, Inspira will not allow more enrollments. But since we are going to be administering the course, that's usually very important when it's a self-enrollment course. So after that date, the system won't allow more self-enrollment. But since we are administering it, we can leave it blank because we are doing it ourselves and we know what we are doing. So it's not that important, okay? So if we go back to where we were in the patterns, in here there's no end date. The end date is automatically selected by the number of sessions because you're saying 2 days and you're saying Wednesday and Thursday, and that's it. Okay? Is this clear?
Yeah, because
okay, very good. So
I enroll after
first we do the configuration. We have to follow the same order that I'm doing in this WebEx. Sorry?
Yes. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
I enroll people. I don't allow self-enrollment. We don't do it in the mission. So I can put start and end date if this is after this date is ended.
End date blank. Exactly. You do the start date. You do the start date. You do the number of sessions that we said is 2 sessions. You pick the time, whatever you want. You have to pick the facility. Remember, this is very important because we run reports based on this field. So pick your facility, your city where the training is delivered. Pick your starting date. Choose, and this is fixed, 2 sessions. In here, you can select the time you want, but make sure that it's at 5 hours. You can select 10 to 3, 11 to 4, up to you, but 5 hours, okay? Then you select the time zone and the days of the week according to the start date. If you started on a Monday, you would select Monday and Tuesday. But 30th of May, which is the date that Carla gave us, was a Wednesday. So that's why we're selecting Wednesday and Thursday. Okay? All right, thank you very much for your question. I'm sure that it helped some other attendees as well. I have another couple of questions from Carla. Instructors, okay, you're already giving data. Very good, thank you. So that's the next, Carla is already going ahead. So the next part is the trainers. Remember, in the previous one, we were talking about the main trainer, the lead of the trainers. But in here, we can add all the instructors. Again, Elena and Leandro are not your trainers in your mission. So we delete Elena and we delete Leandro because they're not going to be the trainers in your mission. However, we can add the instructors in your mission. That in this case for Carla, where we're going to look for Gordana. We search, and here she is. We select. We can add another instructor. We look for the next one that is going to be Edna. Oh, come on. Here. We select. And there's a third trainer that we're going to look for. And is Juliet. Juliet. Let's see. Very good. Here she is. So there we go. So we have now our course set up. The course took place in Entebbe. It started on May 30th. It lasted for 2 days, from 9 till 2, local time, Entebbe, local time. It was a Wednesday and a Thursday, and these 3 trainers were involved in the training. All right, so we are ready. Now, this is the patterns tab. This is where we explain, we give the data. But now, we're going to build according to this data. Okay, we're going to populate the actual sessions. So we're going to delete the existing sessions because we will have the sessions that I created in my template, and we don't want those. So we delete the previous sessions. We observe holidays just in case, you know, we got a date. In this case, it won't affect, but in case we have a bank holiday in between, we observe holidays, and then we build sessions. So we build the sessions, we say yes, and here we go. These are our sessions in Inspira. The 30th of May, 31st of May, from 9 to 2, local time in Uganda, Entebbe. So now you understand why we chose to make it 5 hours each day. Because if we would have selected 7 hours for the first day and 3.5 hours for the second day, we would have to also amend this this tab. So we just decided to leave it as it is. It's good enough. We're happy with this. So we saved all the information. Now we've finished the sessions according to the patterns that we gave. We save everything and we're ready to go. Our sessions have been configured. So now we have all our components are ready because the survey and the assessment, remember, we don't have to do anything to it. The sessions we have configured, we have already configured them and we're happy with them. So we save to make sure, in case, I do this all the time. Every now and then when you do something, you save the course. Because if you get disconnected from internet or something, you can always go back to your catalog. Remember, catalog, maintain activities. You will look now for your LMS 276, and this configuration will be saved. So it's good for you to save every now and then, even if we haven't finished. Now we move to the next tab, completion. In the completion tab, it will also be inherited from the template that I created for you. But for you to know, what this means is that for the students, for the learners, it is required to attend the sessions, and it is required to attend the assessment. The survey is not required, it's optional. They will still get the certificate even if they don't finish the survey. So the only things that are required in order for them to get the certificate is the sessions. They need to go to the lessons, and the assessment. They need to go and sit at the assessment. It is also required to pass the assessment with a 70% score. Okay, so this is the attendance, attending the sessions, the 2 days, and this is the sitting at the assessment. Furthermore, passing the assessment with a 70% score. Okay? Now, it's also important that we enforce the component order. This has to be clicked. This means that the system will first request number 2. After you have attended the sessions, it will request number 2, attend the assessment and pass. And once this is done, it will request number 3. However, in this occasion, it's not required, so it's not compulsory. If any student goes to the sessions, sits at the assessment and passes with a minimum of 70%, you will have your certificate ready for you to print. All right? So in theory, you don't have to do anything on this screen, on the completion tab. It will be inherited from my template. Okay, so we move on. Nothing to do on the materials, nothing to do on the activity costs. We move on the arrow and we go to the last tab, Activity Certificate. In here, you have your certificate, instructor-led course ticked, inherited from my template, certificate name or module English, inherited from my template. In case you would have to look for, you have here all the certificates, but for Umoja courses, we always select Umoja English. And this is the only certificate that we select for any Umoja course in Inspira. Now, the only thing we need to change is the city, because we said that the training is not happening in Valencia anymore. So we look for Entebbe. Again, city contains Entebbe. And here we have the different, I think, okay, let's do something different. Let's look for the facility. Facility contains Entebbe. Oh, it shows the same. So let's go for the one that shows the country. It's not in here, it's just because it may show in the certificate in itself. However, what I said about country and city in here is not so important, because when we run reports by city, it doesn't pick it up from here. It picks it up from the facility that we saw in the session component. So in here is not crucial. Here is just for what shows in the certificate is not so important. So here we are. We're done. Now we have completed the configuration of our course. So now LMS 276 for RSCE, only for RSCE, it's completed, it's finished. So now what we would have to do, this is finished, and we would have to do exactly the same for our other LMS code. So I'm just going to do it very quickly so you can see all the steps to follow. And just please send me, sorry, I have a few questions. We leave department blank? Yes, we leave department blank. And for the certificate, yes, it's not needed. Just the city is enough, okay, for the certificate. So I'm going to do it, so you see, because I have stopped in every single field, but I'm going to do it for the second LMS. Remember, the one for the approvers. We're also going to choose Carla's information. I'm going to get the data she gave me. I'm going to put it on this other screen. So you can see that it's not that complicated. It's going to be a bit easier when you do it all together. So we contained, and we say 1957-218, which is my template, okay, only to be used the first time you clone it. We leave it blank. We search. Here it is. We leave that date. Then, oh, here we go. Somebody has used my template. Clearly, should be in this WebEx. Okay, let me take note of this. Okay, let me take note of this. Suraj. Okay, and I'll be calling her. Okay, so we will have to. So we don't have a template made from me anymore, apparently, but we will review quickly. So it's good that I did this quickly. So we will clone, okay? And now we choose the next one, we change it to active, we select the date, and we're going to say May 30th, and we copy, and we continue. Now, 227 is the one for Carla. 227, Carla, that's your LMS code. Okay, so this is only for Carla. Please do not use anybody else. This course, this is only for Carla. Each one of you should keep track of your own LMS codes. So here, what we do is we change these to Carla. Carla. Oh, too many Carlas. So let's go for the last name. Here we go, much easier. Okay, the primary instructor. This time we're going to select a different one. As we said, I understand they're going to be the same trainers. So this time we're going to select Gordana, because correct me if I'm wrong, Carla, but I believe that your 3 trainers are equally leveled in RSEE for this training. So I'm going to select another one. So they're, each one of them will be in one. And now the rest, we just make sure that it's right. Umoja administrators, everything is good. We save. We're ready to go. Next tab, components. We will just make sure internal, very good. Return to activity. Assessment, it's outside, very good. Return to activity. Sessions. We go here. We edit. We go to patterns. Well, Valencia is not good. So we now know that Suraj didn't change the facility. So when we run reports for Suraj, she will appear she delivered training in Valencia. So you see this is important, right? We need to be a little bit picky on this information. So we're going to choose Entebbe. Here's our facility. We're going to pick a date. We said we started on May 30th. So since we say 1 day and a half, I'm going to pick May 31st as well, just to make sense, because now it's going to take place on the second 2 days of the 3-day package, right? I hope that it all makes sense for you now. So because the first one, it was a day and a half, 30th and half 31st, now it's going to be 31st and 1st of June. So we're going to select, since it's the other one, we said 9 till, we chose 9 till 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to say, let's see if we have time. We're going to say 13. Oh, we have to do it with that colon. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're going to say 18. It might not be completely true. Carla, you can change this afterwards if you don't like it and you want to change it to different timings. You're very welcome. Oh, no, we said 18. You're very welcome to go in before you enroll, okay? Before you enroll any students, you can go back into the catalog, maintain activities, go back to this LMS, and you can change, if you prefer to change the timings, that you can do it with no problem, LCL. So now it's going to be a Thursday and a Friday, remember, because the first slot was Wednesday and Thursday. This is going to be a Thursday and a Friday. So now she also left these trainers, so we have to eliminate the trainers because these are no the trainers in Entebbe. We're going to add the trainers in Entebbe, add instructor. Oh, sorry. Here we have Gordana, search, select. We have the second one, we said it was Etna. Etna, I think it was the name, right? Etna Sudi, very good. And we had a third one. Going to look for it. I think it was Juliet. Here we go. Very good. So now we're ready to go. Uganda, start date, 2 sessions, 5 hours, local time, Thursday, Friday, 3 people. Observe, delete, build. Okay. Warnings, show conflicts. Yeah, we know this because we know that we have people, the same trainers training at 1 p.m. on the other one we selected. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's just a warning in case that these were real. The system is warning you, but because we know what we're doing, we're happy with it. We save it, and we have our component complete now. Session survey assessment completion. We make sure it's enforced. Required 1, 2, 3. Passing required 70%. All good. Save again. And we move to the certificate. Module English, instructor-led. Valencia, not Valencia. It's going to be Entebbe. So contains Entebbe. We select Uganda Entebbe. We save. We're done. You see, it's quite quickly. All together, it's quite quickly. So now, Carla, these are your LMS codes. You already have 2 LMS codes, 1 for each. Next time there's a new package, you clone from yourselves, from your own courses, right? The 227 and the one we did for the first LMS code. Okay, very good. This is catalog maintaining activities. This part is called the configuration of the course. Okay, we have cloned the course and we have configured our new course. Now, the second part would be to enroll and administer the rosters. So for that, we go, oh, I need to take note of it, 1957. It might not be available in the system because we know that we need up to 3 hours. So it might not be available. Let's see if it is. We got learning administration, learner tasks, enroll learners. Here we go to the activity code, not to be confused with the course code, right? Just make sure it's the activity code. And LMS dash, we have to get the full words here. You see the cursor, it jumps to the top all the time, so you just have to make sure that you're typing at the very end. So it's 2168 dash 276. That was our course. So we hit intro or we hit search. And we're not lucky, you see. It has not synchronized in the system. Oh, there we go. Very good. It's synchronized already. Remember I said it's up to 3 hours, but we don't know when the timing for the synchronization is taking place. So we're very lucky because our course has already been synchronized. So actually, we could start enrolling people in our course. So we go into enrollment, and in here we look. Carla, would you know for any student index number that attended? These are the administrators. Would you know any administrators that attended this first course? Please find, Carla is asking me a minute, so she's looking for it. Please give me two or three index numbers so we can start. So you see all this information while Carla is looking for these index numbers. We see all this information that we've already configured in our course. So we already know it's a live course instruction course. This is the title of our course. This is our LMS code. This is the contact. that we want to ask questions about Inspira. Okay, so we have the start date, we have all this information and the duration of 10 hours, right? So all the information that we've already done in the configuration of the course is already there, has already been synchronized, and now it's going to be there linked to every other layer of the course that we administer. So in here, for the enrollment, we can look. May I speak? Sure, Carla, go ahead. Now you can. You've been on mute. Carla, I cannot hear you, Carla. Sorry, I think your mic is not working. Sorry, your mic is not working, Carla. Maybe you want to write the question, and I'll read it aloud for everybody. So while Carla gets, if you're gonna find an index number, it's okay. I will enroll myself, and then I can drop myself. But this is not going to. I don't think this is so important because this is exactly. I mean, the difference is only in the configuration. This is exactly as any other course works. So from now on, it's the same thing. Question from Carla: I will have to match the index number to the role of the LMS. Yes, remember, this is the LMS 2168. So this is the LMS for the administrators. Remember when we were talking of the different, I've closed the presentation. Remember that we were talking about the two different audiences that we had. We had the administrators and the approvers. So this 2168 is for the administrators. So we need to enroll. We said out of a training unit package of, training package, that training package of 3 days, we should receive two different lists of attendees, a list of the administrators and the list of the certifying officers or approvers. So now we're enrolling in 2168, so we should enroll all those people that were part of the administrators. So all those learners that were administrators are going to be enrolled in the 2168. All those learners that were approvers will not be enrolled in the 2168. Those will be enrolled in the 1957. But just in order to continue, it's okay, Carla. I will enroll myself, and then I'll drop myself. So you will just have one drop, but it's okay. It won't show in the reports. So there's different ways in finding here. Thank you, Carla. I just have an index number. So there are different ways of looking for the learners. You can look the learners from the index number, employee ID, or by name, because some externals, for example, if you have a UNV, the index number will not be reflected in Inspira. Inspira will only reflect the index number of those staff members that are UN staff members. Secretariat, actually, they have to be DFS staff members. If you have staff members that belong to UNOPS, for example, they will not be reflected. Their index number will not be reflected in Inspira either. So there are some learners that have to be looked by name. So, for example, Carla has already given me a couple of index numbers, so I'm going to start with the first one, 745125. We search in here. Samuel, very good. So we select Samuel. We don't continue yet. We're going to search for more learners because we're going to build up a list of people to be enrolled. So we search for the second one. We delete this number and we get the second one, 361150. Oh, 361150. Here we are. We search Laura. Here we search, Here we have Laura. We select and see what happens. It comes up here. So this is the list of people that are ready to be enrolled. Okay? Let's say that we want to enroll another one. Carla gave me another number. So let's go look for another one. 178103. We search, and oh, there's an error with this number. Maybe I made a mistake. Search for more learners. 178103. There you go. This might be a case that is an external. It's not a secretariat user. Carla, can you give me the... Oh, there was a missing number. So 171803. There we go. Hakim. Very good. Voila. So now we have, you see, we have a list. We have accumulated 3 people to enroll. I would suggest that you can accumulate up to 10, 12, maximum of 15 people. Because if the system crashes while you're doing this, all these people have not been enrolled. You will miss this data. It will not retain the data. So you better just accumulate up to 10, 12, and then you continue the enrollment before you just don't go for 20 because you might lose all that work. So just to show you, let's say that you have me, for example, you want to enroll me and you don't know my index number because it's missing. You didn't find that one. You can also find me by name. So you can go to the advanced lookup, name display contains, and you go for my last name. You look up. Here, you see my last name. I have 4 accounts in here, and 1 account from somebody that is also named with same last name as I have. We share the last name. So when you come up with somebody that has more than 1 account, all these are externals. The external accounts are those that start with a 9 and are very long numbers. All right. So if we have the option between an internal account and an external account, we always go for the internal account. Okay. So you can search, and that would be me. However, we're not going to select because I don't want to be enrolled into this course as I was not a student. So we're just going to continue the enrollment for these 3 people that they are current learners to enroll. They're ready to be enrolled, not me because I'm not up there. So we will continue enrollment and we will submit enrollment. Now we see that enrollment successful for these 2 people. Laura has been unsuccessful. Carla, we can see this afterwards. We can look into the alerts and see why Laura has not been. Umoja travel overview. Oh, this is a CBT. This is required. You see? So we go to the previous page, and now we know that we have to tell this learner, what was her name? Laura. She has to do that CBT before we can enroll her. So the system will not allow, I mean, we can still push it. Carla, you want me to push it and enroll her? If we do it, it will still enroll her. Yes. Okay, thank you, Carla. So we can push it. But the system is telling us that she has a pending CBT that is mandatory to take before getting enrolled into this course. But however, Carla, she's giving us the approval, so we're going to submit Laura anyway, and here we go. Enrollment successful for the 3 people. So enrollment is finished. That's the second part. First part, remember, configuration. Second part, enrollment. Third part, administration. So we go to Learn Administration, Learner Tasks, Administer Activity Rosters. Oh, we select, oh, too late. I usually copy it. So you can copy and paste it, but I was too slow. So we say again, activity code. Remember, it's not the activity course or the course name or the course code. Before, remember we had to course code and activity code. Here you have, it's confusing because for the enrollment, for the administrator of the activity roster is on this side. So it's activity code, LMS 2168-276. That's our course. We search and we go to and we have 3 people enrolled in our course. We go to the roster, and now when we go to the roster, we have 2 tabs. even if it seems like we are on this activity component, that's usually the common sense for everybody that is used to online learning. And here's the opposite. We are in the grade tab. So we are on the activity roster tab right now, which is kind of the overview. So here it's telling us that these 3 people have been enrolled, all right, but they have not completed their course. They're only enrolled. So if we go into the next component, to the next tab, sorry, the activity component tab, we know that there's the first order, the 1, it's required to attend the sessions. The second one is required to attend the assessment, and the third one is optional for the survey. Remember, we configured this. So now we're going to do the administration of this course. So first we're going to go, the first required part is the session, so we go into the details. And if Carla agrees, because she's the one having this information, we will select all, and we will say that set the attendance to attended, because we get in the information that all these 3 people attended the training. So we select it to attend, and we say go. Then we have here attended. We don't need to set the grade, because remember, for the sessions, it was not required to pass any assessment on the sessions. So we leave it blank. And here, look at this. Passing status is not required, so we don't need to change this. But look at this, completion status. In here says not attempted. If we save now with the new attended option, it changes into completed. So that means that this component, the sessions component, is now completed. So now we can go back, return to previous page, and our first component is completed. Now we go into our second component, assessment, and we're going to, in here, Carla, I guess that because of the conversation we had before when she was asking me that it was not compulsory, I'm going to take for granted that these people have not sat at the exam. I have to see with Leandro if the exam is compulsory, and then I will go back to you. So for the time being, as a first stage, that's it. You leave it here. There's nothing else you can do because you don't have further information. But if we go back to our process that we were mentioning before, let me bring it back to your to the screen that I'm sharing so you can see this. If we go back to this process, okay, the first one, it's this step. It's when you get the attendees list and they've attended training. So this is the step where we are. That's what you can do up to here, right? The learners may not have taken the assessment. You cannot carry on. But once this is a break in time, let's say. But once the Valencia training team communicates their results to you, to the Inspira administrators, then the Inspira administrators can complete the administration of the roster. So let's say, just for you to learn what you have to do, let's say that we stop this WebEx in here and we meet again for another WebEx next week when Carla has already obtained the results of the assessment from us. So let's say that during this week that is taking place now, the learners of Entebbe sit at the exam, take the exam, and they send us, we gather the results and we send the results to Carla. Then Carla goes back into Inspira. She would also look for the same number, and then she would still go to the administrator activity rosters, and then she would go into the activity component tab, and she would go into the assessment details. At this point, we're not going to save it, okay? We're going to do it, but we're not going to save it. Antonio's breaking up. I'm sorry it's breaking up. I hope it's better for you now. Just send me another message. This is being recorded, so you're going to have the WebEx session to look at it later on if you prefer. And Carl is saying we can set a date and time for the exam. You mean the exam is going to be outside of Inspira? We can set a date and time by email. We can talk later on, but this is going to be we don't need to set any date and time because we're not requiring any setup from the mission point of view. So the trainer will provide the URL directly to the student, and the student can just, whenever he or she finds the right time, whenever they have studied enough, they feel comfortable to take the assessment, they can take the assessment at their own desk. They can go into their computer, go into the URL, take the assessment, and that's it. And no need to set up anything from the mission point of view. We're going to do it very easy this time because we're looking at an audience that is of great volume. It's a huge number of people following this training. So we cannot do the same procedure that we do, for example, for the retakes. That the retakes are less number of people, so we can do it a bit more taking care of them and setting up from the coordination point of view in the mission. This is too big for us to do that. So we just give in the URL directly to the students, and they can take the exam whenever they feel comfortable to take it. So as I said, from this moment on, I'm not going to save what I'm going to do, but just to show you how you would do it, let's take as an example that a week has gone by. These 3 students have clicked on the URL, they've taken the assessment, and they have, and we have sent the results of the assessment to Carla. So Carla now has all the information. So what you would do is you select all, and you say they've all attended, and go. So this changes to attended. So the 3 candidates have sat at the exam, but then we can say we still select all. Yeah, remember they're all clicked. And we can say they've all passed. So we say to pass, and we go. So they've all passed. If in this moment we save, this would change to completed. Okay? But let's say, for example, Samuel. Let's say Samuel, he took the exam, but maybe he failed. Okay? So this will say not completed, or it would say in progress. He can take the exam again. He can go take the exam again. We would let you know, Carla, and we would say, okay, now Samuel has passed. So then you would come, you will look for this LMS code, you would go to the administrative activity roster, and you would go directly to this. You would go directly to Samuel, and you would change it to pass. And that would be changed, and you would be saved. So this is an ongoing process until basically all the students have passed. So you and I, Inspira administrators at the mission level, and I, Inspira administrator in Valencia and coordinator of all of you guys, we need to be in communication, okay? You need to tell us who you're missing, and I will be communicating to you whatever grades you're missing so you can complete the administration of the course, and we can keep our scorecards as well, right? In theory, we would save it, but because this has not happened, I'm not going to save it, okay? So we return from the previous page, and if that would have been saved, let's say that we've taken the assessment and we've passed the assessment, the next step would be to go to the activity roster again and select the people. You can select all the people, or you can select only those who have passed the assessment, up to you. And then in here you would say send notification. You go. And then the 2, because you want to keep this bit more, you don't want to display all the names to everybody. You take it out from there and you blind copy. In here you get your email, so it would be Denise at Carla's name. I don't remember your email. Denise, here we go. So we would get Carla's email, copy, and paste it here. So this is how it would look. It would look like we delete this as well. We already have our course in there. And from my presentation, in one of the last slides, I gave you the text that I use all the time as a template, and you can copy it as well, or you can modify as you wish. So this is what I use as a template. Okay, so this is the one that we can use. We add it there, and then we can say, in this case, if we change that for our SCE training unit. I'm not going to send it, Carla, don't worry. So you can just adapt it. I mean, you can change it as you wish. So if we do this, we just say, dear colleague, basically your certificate is now ready for you to print. You have to follow this path in order to go to your certificate and print it. Thank you very much. You can sign as Carla if you prefer. You can sign as the training unit, up to you. Okay? So once you do this and you send the notification, it will ask you for another, are you sure you want to send? And you say yes. Once you've done that, all these people have received this message. So you're done. This is you've completed your activity in Inspira, except one little thing. If we return to the activity, because I didn't send it, you would have to send it. We copy our LMS code. Once everything is completed, all your students are there. You see your current status is in progress now because they still have to take the assessment. So, but let's say once it's finished, all of them have taken the assessment and all of them have passed, then we have to remember to do one little thing. We copy the LMS, we go back to the catalog, maintain activities, we look for our course, here it is, and we remember to change this active into concluded. And then we save. I'm not going to save because it's not the case, but please remember to do this, because by doing this, as I said, when we do the reports, it all looks clean and it shows that this training has been concluded. This training, the 276, this unit of 3 days. If tomorrow there's another training starting, Carla will come to maintain activities, look for her course, will clone and start the activity again. If this will be replicated again with the new dates of the new package of training. So that's all. I think we're done. I'm not going to save this, so I'm going to get out of this page to make sure that it doesn't get saved by mistake. And no, we don't want to save. So that's it. It's finished. So do you have any questions? Any of you, all of you guys? Is this clear? Please give me your green check or your red X if you have any questions. But to get the URL for the exams is asking Hamidullah. The URL will be provided by the trainers directly to the users, to the learners. However, if you want to, it's not confidential at all. If you want to get the URL, just drop me an email so I won't forget. And we can send it to you too. So if you want to have it there in your notes, in case the trainer forgets to give it to the students, you can provide it to the students. It's not a problem. Or you want to send a reminder of those students that have not passed the exam, we can share with you. That's not a problem at all. So those of you who would like to know the URL, you can either ask to your trainers, to the LPETs in travel in your mission, or you can ask me directly. Just drop me an email, and I'll be happy to share the URL with you guys. That's not a problem. You can have it. So thank you, everybody. Oh, another question. Thank you very much. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Hamidullah. Thank you for everybody. Sorry it took a bit longer, 30 minutes more than expected. I was thinking 1.5 hours would be enough, but I was very happy that you were placing questions, that you were very interested in following up. So I thought it was worthwhile to answer all your questions and go very much into detail, because I think it's worthwhile to spend 30 more minutes. But now I think that you know every field that is relevant, and I think we will avoid more any mistakes in the future. So apologies for the 30 minutes extra. Carla is asking if we're going to have if you're going to have the presentation. Yes, you already received the presentation. You already received the PowerPoint after the VTC. That is the same one we used in the VTC. If you want, if you're interested, I don't know if this is any help. If you want this Word document, it doesn't mean much by itself, but if it reminds you, if it's a good reminder for you, I can delete the first page. That's not. But I don't know. You tell me if you want me to send to you this this Word document of 2 pages, and if it's of some use to you, I can do it. That's not an okay. Carla wants. Okay, so I'll just take note. Antoine, Carla, Hamidullah, Ismail, Halil. Okay, so you guys will get the I can send you the presentation again, so you have it all in one email. I will send to you the presentation. I will send to you the Word document, and not now because it takes a little bit of time for the recording. The recording will be in a different email. It takes a little bit of time to get the recording, and also I want to convert. It comes in a very strange format that it's only accessible from the WebEx page to listen to it. So what I will do as well, I will convert it into a MP4, so you can listen it to in any software that you usually use. So I will send to you the recording in MP4 probably tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't want to wait until Monday to send it to you. So I will do my best to send the recording tomorrow in MP4. PPT and Word document will be going out today. All right. So thank you very much for your patience, for your interest, and for being still there asking questions. It's a pleasure as always. And please do not hesitate to send me any emails if you have any questions, any doubts, anything else you want to share. Drop me an email. And we're very busy here right now. We're delivering several trainings simultaneously. So please please forgive me if I'm a bit slow answering to emails, but I will get to you. And if I'm not getting back to you, just send me another email. Just insist. I'm not getting upset, okay? I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate very much your help. I think that the Inspira administration community is a great community. We're getting lots of things very well done. I have to give you the feedback from our managers, and even in UNHQ, they're very happy with you because you're doing a great job. So we also taking these community as focal points in the missions very often. As you know, we sometimes ask you questions that are not strictly referred to Inspira administration, but because it's such a great community, and we're so happy with your feedback and your hard work and how you respond to our queries. Sometimes we ask you certain questions as the holidays we were asking before on the missions. So thank you very much, all of you, and it's a pleasure working with you. So I've stopped the recording now, I think. No, hold on. I'm stopping the recording now. I don't know why. Oh.